Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, back at it again with another episode of Combat and Cryptids. Got a real good treat for you guys today. We're going to be talking with my little brother. I mean, I call him little brother. He's only like a year younger than me, so not really that much little, but still little. And today, the subject we're going to be talking about today is it's a oh my god, it's about ghosts and what our thoughts are on them. What do we think about them? And then see if we got any stories to talk about anything that has ever happened to us. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my little bro. His name's Lee. So yeah, Lee. You there, Lee?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I already kind of casted the subject. Like obviously this week's cast is only going to be about. It ain't gonna only be about ghosts. It's not really like a scripted anything, so it could randomly be whatever the hell we feel like talking about. But the main storyline, I guess, is really like pertaining to Ghost. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Right. So Lee, did you know around what time the first ghosts were actually like when the first person was like, "Hey, like I saw this shit." Around what time that was?
Like in the family or just like
No,
somebody
no,
in
no.
general?
In general, like history. It's history, not the family.
Uh, no, the first one I heard about was around someone in like the 1800s or something.
hmm So that's probably like when, yeah, probably around then was when, like, I guess people started more or less talking about it. But the actual first actual encounter was like in the 1540s.
Oh, really?
Like it was way before that. Yeah. It was way.
Huh.
The time frame you're talking about is when like Winston's like what's that, the Salem witch trials and all that stuff happened.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's around that time frame when everybody was like, hey, this is kind of what's going on, because everybody thought that like every woman in the world at that point in time were witches, because they were, cooking spices and dancing in the woods naked and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Old
but
chickens.
yeah. They were doing stuff with chickens and stuff like that. So I think around 1540 was the first actual, like, when I think it was when one dude he ended up getting like beheaded or something like that, and then like a few days later, like a lot of the people around started they started seeing like that same guy, and he was they said that they saw him basically walking around the streets like he was just a normal guy, like nothing had ever happened, like he didn't even get killed or murdered or something like that. uh, he was just walking around and just like everything was normal, and they'd see him at like odd hours of the time and stuff like that. It wasn't like obviously like high noon when they would see these kinds of things. It was more or less like at like, I don't know, like I guess what the witching hour is. So it's always usually like that midnight to like 2 o'clock is usually when like the kind of like the weird shit happens.
Right.
But actually, a ghost is the soul or spirit of a dead person or animal. That's the weirdest part, dude. Like, it's not even just people. It's like animals too. Like, I don't know. I guess I've never seen a ghost animal before, but it's not really, I haven't really had that many pets that I'm like, oh my god, like why would I guess still be seeing that? I don't know. I haven't really had that many pets to be like lifelong
Yeah.
partners.
Yeah. I don't think I've really heard of anybody seeing like a ghost animal though.
Really, but you think about that though, and then like, how I remember Dad was talking about he was talking about how he would see a lot of like what he thought were like burial grounds and stuff like that, like in the woods. But he ended
Across the road
yeah, all those
from the
were
house. Yeah.
animal burial grounds. They weren't people burial grounds. That's
Yeah.
a little suspicious in its own. And I mean, that area out there is already fucking creepy as shit. It's not like a
Yeah,
normal.
it's not really like nobody really looks into it and knows what's really gone on out there.
It's just, I mean, there's not enough foot traffic, like to be out there, to be in every part of that, of the prairie and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind
or
of
like
fucking.
it's out of sight, out of mind for most of the people that live there.
Right. Mm. So actually, so the one thing that I did, and I remember, I don't know if you were outside when we went to Mom's funeral. Were you outside when Dad was talking about all that stuff?
I came out there towards the end of it. Knew
Okay.
you guys were out there talking. I just kind of then like at the end of it.
Yeah. So what basically? So I don't know. I guess and I mean that man. We've obviously known him for all of our lives, and he doesn't really scare too easily. It's not. He's not. He was a scary guy, but he never scared easily. Like it took a lot to get that man scared.
Yeah, right.
And I remember like him even talking about like all of this, like you could tell like emotionally, like it was like it kind of freaked him out. Like, and I guess it would be like it would freak me out too at that point in time with everything kind of going on and stuff like that. But basically,
Yeah,
up
because
at
that his tone and his voice kind of
yeah,
changes.
it kind of shivers and like quivers, like that really like I'm scared like sound. You got a drink, Lee? You got a beer? No.
No, not right now.
Oh, why not? Go grab one, dude. I'm drinking a beer. You might as well.
I have one. I came in the room because she's out there cooking and my little
Mm.
area's occupado.
Oh, that's fine. You can go grab it and take it in the room, bro. We gonna be talking, man. We got another at least 50 minutes, dude. You might as well go grab that thing.
I got it, bro. I got it. I got
Okay,
it.
okay. Well, just let me know
I'll
if you.
just yell at.
Yeah,
I'll just yell at the little one to go get or bring it to me.
yeah. All right, that's cool. Yeah. So anyway, so back on topic. Sorry, my bad. So basically, what he basically stated, and it was just really creepy. I guess I don't know how we get on these subjects, but I think it's more just like, hey, you just kind of want to occupy your mind and your time and stuff like that. So you kind of just start talking about like all the weird shit that kind of goes on. And basically, what he said was up to like the point in time, like probably like 3 months before we obviously are all meeting up at this point. Um, Mom and him, and even what's the dog's name? What's his dog's name?
Which one?
The one's in the house.
Uh,
Is it Coper? No, not Coper. Fucking Wally. Yeah, Wally, ain't it?
yeah, Wally.
Yeah. Okay.
Wally.
So up to that point, he was basically like I think he said it was happening like 3 or 4 times like out of the week where Mom and Wally were basically like obviously Wally's just walking around doing his own thing, but Mom's obviously in the bed and like she doesn't really, she don't really sit out in the living room and stuff like that. She's usually kind of stuck to her room and stuff like that. But she said probably on, and this is what she told Dad, was basically on a few nights and a few occasions, like 3 or 4 times a week, she would always like look towards the end of the hallway and would look and see like the outline of a person. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, no. And he was just like, and he was like, yeah. And he was like, and obviously he said it enough, or mom said it enough to where, it kind of caught his attention and stuff like that. And then the
Mm-hmm.
and then the one time he was trying to do something, I forget what he told me. He was trying to do something like he was trying to find his keys or something like that, and he was trying to find his keys, and he know like the man is like a robot. He puts everything back and puts things in the same. Like he knows where everything is in his house. You're not gonna like he doesn't move. He's not a rearrange the furniture in the living room type of guy. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
So basically, he was looking for keys or something. It was something stupid like that, or the remote or something like that. And he always has it in
No,
this.
it was telling me this weaker.
Huh?
So I remember him telling me this. It was his keys. He was looking for the keys for the Jeep.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. That what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, and I just kind of heard this all like in passing. Like I wasn't really paying attention to the conversation. It was just more like there just to listen to kind of what he was talking about. So I was like, but I knew
Right.
he misplaced something, and basically when he misplaced it, he basically just like spoke in general to the room and was like, I know where I leave my stuff, so could you please, or something along these lines. Don't quote me 100%, but it was something along these lines. Basically, he was like, I know where I leave my stuff, and it's always in the same spot. So if you could just put my stuff back where it was, like that, I would appreciate that. and then he leaves the room, and then he comes back, and his keys are right where he normally leaves them, or something like that happened, which
Yeah.
I thought, I was like, oh my, the hell are you doing, dude?
Oh, I sat in my chair.
Jesus Christ, man, you sound like you're on a fucking waterbed.
No, it's like leathery.
Yeah, that's your fat rolls and everything going across them, dude. And, so yeah, so I thought that was really freaky. And then the whole, did he tell you about the? Were you there when he was talking about the napkin thing or whatever the hell it was?
Then no, I didn't hear nothing about no napkin.
So you know how the sink in the kitchen, it obviously it's old and it's never worked right for a long time, Um,
Yeah.
he basically, so he had six napkins, and they're probably still there, to be honest. Like when you go out there, you check it and ask him about it when you see him.
Yeah, I'd seen them. I just never really, it never came to mind.
Oh, you never asked him about it?
No.
All right, so ask him about it, and it'll give you a good like 30 minutes of like a story, like no shit. And
Hmm.
so basically, he had these six napkins or paper towels that he was basically just rotating. So the sink would just constantly drip. Like it didn't, I guess not constantly, but just enough to where it would make that stupid noise where it would hit the inside of the sink. So he basically had
Hmm.
six of those paper towels, and every few hours, probably like within like 5 or 6 hours, he would rotate the towels, and he would basically take the paper towel and he would move that one out and then put a fresh one in there. All right, and obviously like there's not a lot of stuff up there. It's just kind of like dishes and stuff like that, like normal household shit. There's nothing. You don't have 500 boxes on the table and 500 boxes on the floor, so they're kind of on their own. And the window is closed, so it's not like nothing comes into the, like, he doesn't have like animals or like squirrels or anything coming into the house, so it's. But he said one day, and well, not one day, it was like around that time frame after when we were there and stuff like that. He basically went in there to go rotate the towel and move it over and put a dry one back under the sink, and two of the towels were missing. They were just gone. Like, so what he was thinking was, like, obviously he checked like the sink, under the sink, on the ground, and the floor, outside. Maybe it blew off, stuff like that. But he said he could not find these things, at all. Like nothing. Like he couldn't find them, and just two of them were just randomly gone. And I think I mean, I don't know. You can probably ask him, but I think to this day, I don't think he ever found them like after that. So basically, something was either a watching his routine of like, hey, this is what he does every time, so I'm going to like mess up the kind of the routine, and it did. I mean, he said he spent like 4 hours trying to look for these. How he tore apart the whole kitchen, looked for everything. Like he was just, I guess it just kind of freaked him out like more than anything, because it kind of messed up his flow, because he doesn't really have much he does all day besides feed the dogs, walk the dogs, that kind of thing. And to have that one little thing that he was like, all right, I'm gonna go like swap out the towels, and he goes in there and there's and two of them are gone, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I mean, when you're, I guess at that point when you're, and I don't we say it's nice to, like, you got a house full, you got a house full of like family members, so you got your wife, your kids, and stuff like that, and you're always like, there's always, it comes a point in time where you're like, hey, I would really like some quiet and some alone time in the house. Like maybe like a couple hours or something like that. You're not talking about weeks or anything.
Right, right.
And but to be in that position where you're like, and being out that far, like what, and I guess the biggest thing is most people like don't understand like what it means to like live out, like, I mean, some people do, but like growing up as a kid and stuff like that, to live out that far away from everybody and stuff like that, and to want to have that kind of like separation and not wanting to be around people and stuff like that, it really, like, when you're out there alone, like if you're just like the only person, and your only companion now is your dogs and a pig, like at that point, I think it's either there's something out there or something going on in that kind of area, or your mind is just filling your head up with stuff that you want to believe, or you need to focus on something else or something like that. That's the way I see it. I mean, I don't know what your opinion is on it, or what your opinion is on like ghosts or spirits or apparitions or anything like that. But me personally, um, I mean, it's one of those things where you have to like see it to believe it, and it's not. I don't discount it and think that they're not real. It's just, in my opinion, up to this point, I have not seen anything or had anything happen personally to me. Now, I've had some creepy ass shit happen. Don't get me wrong, but it was mainly in like a dream sense and stuff like that. And I'll tell you about those in a minute. But I just kind of want to get Lee. What is your opinion? I guess as far as ghosts or like the spiritual or stuff like that. Do you go to church?
We go occasionally.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Depends on how our schedule is for work, but she likes to go.
Right, right, right.
I'm
She's
not a
really
huge fan in it, but I go with her, and I'm not like, oh no, f all this. I
right, right,
go, I
right.
support, you know.
Yeah, it's whatever. You're just basically there for support. Like, I mean, I don't care about it. I don't like it. I don't dislike it. I'm just here for everybody else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
exactly.
that's the same way. That's the same way I am. Yeah, that makes sense. So,
And as far as believing me, yes, 100%. I mean,
so you believe in like ghosts or like the demonic side or like happy side? Because there's two sides to that whole coin.
but have one without the other. Me already had personal with this. Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you believe in both of them. So the good and the bad side of it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, there's got to be.
You think? Oh man. All right.
It's got to be something. I mean,
Right. You don't think that when so this is my theory on it, and it's just me. It's my opinion. It doesn't mean anything, or it's not doesn't hold any weight or anything like that. Um, so my thing is, do you think like the way I see it is once you die or once you're pronounced dead or whatever it is or whatever have you, when you're at that point, you I don't think that there's anything that happens afterwards. Like if you like it's like saying, I guess, for like the same instance, like if you have a car and you break the motor and you break the transmission and stuff like that, and the car is broke, and without replacing it or getting a new one or putting a new one in it, it's done. That's it. It's basically a shell with nothing that works. Now there's nothing else that happens. You can't come in after the point and be like, oh, in 10 years it's going to start up, or there's nothing like internal that happens with the car itself that would make it want to either do something else or not do anything that's not normal. And that's like a physical thing, just like we as people are kind of physical things. So that's why I think, like, once you're done, you're done. And I think it's more or less you, like, as a person, you kind of portray what you want to see. And I believe that in every aspect, whether it be, you're talking about Bigfoot or aliens or ghosts or demons, whatever you want to call it. I feel like even though you've seen something, like at some point in time, you always kind of question it and be like, hey, did I really do that or see that, or is it something that I'm kind of portraying? And that's just my thoughts and how I see it, I guess.
right. I guess I see it a little differently from what I've seen and,
Mm-hmm.
kind of observed around. I guess it's more of a hope type of deal too that goes along with me.
Right. You said a hoax?
Yeah, like no, like a hope, like
Oh, hope, hope, hope. Okay, okay,
like you're
okay.
hoping that there is something
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there.
I get you. I understand. Yeah. But what makes you think that it's real? So now tell me why you think it's real. Like whether it be like a story or what your opinion is, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you don't want to share any stories or do anything like that, that's fine. We can fill it in with other stuff. But what makes you
Well,
believe or think that that is?
for me, back when we lived, what was it over at Fort Drum? That's where
Mm-hmm.
it started for me.
Okay. Like in the
You
double
know,
wide trailer? Okay,
yes,
okay. All right.
specifically that one. That's where it all started for me.
Mm-hmm.
You remember how back like a secondary like living room?
Dude, yeah, I know when you first came in, you had like the left hand side had the living room, and then in the back right corner, across from the kitchen, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
down.
Mm-hmm.
I, looking bed.
Mm-hmm.
One day, I'm out, like cold out, like middle of the day though. I feel somebody in the bed, thinking it was Mama or you or Joey or somebody. I
Mm-hmm.
wake up, I see the indentation on the bed, nobody there, and I pop up quicker, gone. You see the little indentation like just disappear, like whoever was there is gone.
Was it like? Do you think it was like feet or like a butt or like?
Because I felt like weight of it, because my legs kind of, you sit on certain beds, your feet kind of sag or move with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It did that, and I kind of like my bed kind of eyeballed it, seen that, and it just like
Hmm. So basically, so I don't know. You're I don't know if the audio is coming through like choppy either on my headset or whatever. So basically, what you're saying happened is, um, you were taking a nap on the bed. There was a bed over there, or was it a couch?
no, it was a bed. It was a little bed, like a little mattress.
Oh, I think it was the one that mom sat on and she would look out the window and stuff like that, wouldn't she, or something like that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're saying is you were taking a nap there, and all of a sudden you felt like somebody like sat down next to you, and then you're like, of course you're like, what the fuck? Because you're not going to be like, oh yeah, no, that's cool, that's pretty normal, and but
Right.
so and then you wake up and you're like, is it like a split second and it's just gone?
Yeah, pretty much just like that. Like as soon as I sit up, that's it. It's already gone.
Now, was there anything in the room that made it feel any different, or were you like, was it like hot in the room?
Mm,
Was it cold, or?
no, it felt pretty normal. Like I think I was shivering, nothing like that. It was just that normal.
Hmm. Wow, I never really. I mean, I don't know, man. I guess I mean that those trailers were already like an odd, like that area was already odd for me. I guess I mean with
Yeah,
that
it,
whole.
it always felt weird to me out there. Like I was always a little uneasy around that place.
And we always remember when we would always go back to like in the backwoods, and we would go so far away from the house and go to those
Yeah,
like little platforms and stuff like that. We'd always fish and do all that. Man, those woods were fucking creepy, man. Looking back on
it
it,
was. And the more you went farther back you went, the little like, eerier it got.
yeah, it was like weird, like marshland and stuff like it was just that whole area was creepy, man. But I mean, I get it though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't discount that because I had the whole Bigfoot thing that happened out like half a mile away from where we lived at that house. So I mean, I couldn't. You can't really discount that. But that's just weird. And I don't think because that guy who actually owned that trailer, I forget his name. It was like Rick or something. He was some douchebag. But I mean, come to think about it, dude. Every family that was around there, they were all everybody was kind of odd, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I told Daddy about that one, and he was wondering why the people wanted us to live in it so bad. He wanted to go. Like that dude wanted to leave quick,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
that
he
was, I
assumed
mean,
that
we
I
did, yeah. Yeah, we did move out there pretty quick. It wasn't, where were we living at before that? I'm trying to remember now.
little trailer, the other double wide with the big pond in the back.
The other double wide with the big pond. Oh, that one was right down the road from it, wasn't it?
Yeah, next to that old elderly couple.
It was all open field, wasn't it? It was like a really open field and the houses were pushed off a bit.
Yeah, it was like a little cul-de-sac. There was like
Mm-hmm.
maybe three houses back there, four of
Right.
us.
That's the one where Johnny flipped over that hay bale and then fucking split his head open on the barrel.
That was it. That'd be it. And then he cried like a sissy girl.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I mean, but dude, when you think back on that kind of area, dude, that area was like even the people who lived there were weird, man. There wasn't really, I mean, there wasn't really that many normal people, minus the Spanish guys who we rode the bus with, and the Arabian dude or whatever his name was.
Oh yeah,
Those
I don't
guys who
remember
lived a
his
little
name,
bit
but
away, yeah.
yeah.
And then Eric
Now,
was the other one.
yeah. Now, at the same when that first happened to me, that's when I started seeing the Red Hood. there was always something running past the window with like a red hoodie on.
What the
And
fuck?
you know the double doors,
What was that? Try
double
that one again.
doors in the back.
Yeah, they had we had the porch on the back. Yep, I remember that.
No curtains. You can't, I seen me go past there. It was
Hmm. I'm trying to think, man. Did I? No, man. I don't remember. So wait, you were seeing somebody or some person like in a red hood that would
yeah,
just go past the windows and stuff like that?
yeah. And no matter what, that's all I seen was shoulder and the side of the head.
So wait,
And it
so
was,
so are you saying you only saw it at the back door, like the double doors, or like through any
oh,
other
I seen it
window?
around all.
Yo, that
That's
trailer, that trailer was high off the ground, dude. It wasn't like a normal height.
and I whole like I don't. She's like the only one I really because I was younger. I don't like I'm or some crap. So I just seen it. Always had an uneasy feeling after that.
Hmm.
And
Really?
then yeah, I even daddy we moved over there. I always
I don't know why
sleep in silence.
I don't know why you
I
just keep
can't.
I don't know why your mic just keeps cutting out, or if maybe it's just on my end. You got good service where you are, Lee?
Yeah, I'm on the Wi-Fi.
That's probably why, dude. Take it off the Wi-Fi, bro.
All right, hold on.
Like go off the cellular service.
How's that?
There we go. Yeah, because it seems like this is how you sound coming through me. Is you say, I remember, and then I. That's the way it sounds. Sounds like a damn
Oh,
landline phone or something.
all right, I'll just leave it off this then.
Yeah. There you go. See, now it's more fluid and stuff like that. So, oh my God,
Okay,
Kinsley Emma, Jesus Christ! Oh,
it's gonna be
she
awesome.
just bursted into the door, dude. It was so quiet in here. Thanks, babe. All right, so all that's going on, and how many times? Like, obviously, I forget how long. How long did we live out there? Was it what like we lived out there for like a couple years, didn't we? Like at least two,
Yeah, it was a couple of years. I think two or three.
right? And then, so how many times did you see that?
Like almost daily. And it's never the same time of day, never, it was just brain times. First thing in the morning, middle of the day, evening. There was the one time at night I seen it, which I couldn't sleep that whole night. It was like the creepiest thing. But
Really?
I never seen it inside the house, only
Always just
outside.
outside, eh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's so weird, dude. And that's so weird that you were kind of the only. I mean, I guess, at this point now hearing this from you, I wonder if Johnny and Joey or Ashley, when she did live there and stuff like that, I wonder if they're, I wonder if everyone had like some kind of little weird thing that kind of happened. And they're like no one, like obviously, because you didn't tell. Who did you tell about this? Like, you didn't tell any of us about it.
No, I didn't tell nobody.
Did you tell mom or
No,
dad? Or you told dad,
I told
obviously.
mom. Yeah, I told mom like a year or so ago.
Oh, really? That late?
It's
So you
kind of
didn't tell anybody when it was going on?
no, I don't know. I mean, I'm a kid. People are just gonna assume I'm lying or something.
What the fuck? So you're
You
just
know?
dealing with that and you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
wow. So what do you think
Because
it
everybody
was?
was kind of separate at that point, so
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
just kind of doing.
Everybody was just kind of do their own thing just to kind of get through everything that was going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So what do you think? What do you think that was? Or what do you think you saw? Do you still not know to
me,
this day? What do you think? What's your opinion
no,
on it?
I kind of questioned it here and there. Kind of looked up stuff, thinking like maybe it's some meaningful thing. Because
Mm-hmm.
you ever heard of the lady in white?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I thought maybe it was something like that, but I couldn't find nothing. I looked into it a bit later, years later.
Right, right, right.
But I don't know.
And since moving from there, have you ever seen that again?
Yes, when we
Oh
moved
my
out there
God,
to the
really?
prairie,
Oh, you saw it out there too?
yes,
That's so
that's why I
weird, dude.
always slept with. I always heard stuff at night, little voices in my ear. That's why I started playing radios and stuff. Mama, even when I started moving, like staying at friend's house or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
nobody wanted to stay in my room because everybody got an eerie feeling. Johnny, Mama, Joey, and them. Mama refused to sleep in it. She tried that one time and she said no, she can't do
Which
it.
So wait, so which room? So I'm trying to remember that double wide trailer.
The first room on the right.
And I was in the back one, wasn't I?
Yes.
Back right. It was like a corner one, I think.
Yeah.
And then where was Joey sleeping?
With Mama and Daddy in the room, in their room.
Oh, okay, and then Johnny obviously had his own, right? Yeah, and then
At the point.
yeah, I think he had a room for a little while there. I think Ashley was already out by then, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had that room back there by yourself, and you're basically, and I guess up to this point, I mean, there's not really, I mean, besides, I mean, obviously we know what went on in our family and stuff like that. Obviously, at that point in time, dad was drinking a lot, mom wasn't doing much. We were out in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have any friends. We didn't, we were always moving. We were always doing these other things. Dad could never keep a job that
Right.
was steady, and we were always, to the next job and to the next job because he always just pissed people off. So we never, I guess, and I don't know if that, like obviously our childhood. I mean, it was the best for what we had at the time. I guess when looking back at it, um, in the moment, obviously you think it's all miserable and everything kind of sucks and stuff like that. So you don't. I just don't know what. Like it's just weird to me because the first thinking like obviously you think that trailer is already that trailer and area is always kind of creepy and stuff like that, and you get that aspect of it. But to have it go from there and then you see it a few more times at the prairie, which is that's 25, 30 mile different. You know what I mean? Um, that's
Yeah.
just that's just odd, man.
Yeah. And I was thinking, okay, we're moving. I ain't got to worry about it
Man,
no more.
fuck you, motherfucker. You staying here?
And it was the same thing, just the windows, never inside. Um, I, I think when I told Mom about it, she said, "Oh, maybe it was something looking out for you." I don't know.
Man,
Maybe
looking
it was
out for you,
something
man.
bad watching me.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy, and
I
that's
was like,
what, yeah, that's kind of the thing that I've always, like, as much. I mean, you start once you start looking up certain things and stuff like that, like whether it be ghosts or like Bigfoot or aliens or whatever it is, you always get you can go down a deep and dark like rabbit hole real quick, especially on like YouTube and stuff like that. So, I
yeah,
try not to like I guess manifest that onto myself to where I'm like, oh fuck, like I don't want to think about these things because then I have to go. Obviously, I have to go right back to sleep, and then you're just like, I can't go to sleep now, and stuff like that.
yeah. It's
So,
part of the reason. That's part of the reason I didn't look too far into it. Like, I don't want all this stuff rattling in my brain while I'm trying to, go to sleep.
right, 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 yeah. And I guess that does make sense because you and Johnny would always. That's what you always listen to music all the time,
Hmm.
all the time. And
Like,
I thought it was just because you guys like music.
no, I generally cannot sleep without a sound. The louder the sound, the better I sleep.
But
I
why is that?
mean,
Is that just because your brain is like, hey, like if you can't hear it, it's not gonna happen, type thing.
pretty much that's kind of how I rationalize it. If I hear other stuff, I can't hear that, and if I can't hear that, I can sleep.
Lee,
It's not there,
do you wear socks when you go to sleep?
no,
No.
no.
Okay. All right. So I have this weird, and it's like a reoccurring dream that I've always had, and it's like traumatized me for like the longest time. But I always sleep with socks on because I always think that there's always something that's gonna grab me by my feet. I mean, you've always obviously seen like ghosts like videos and stuff like that, where people get grabbed by their feet and stuff like that. So I always
Those
thought,
horror movies.
yeah. So I always think this to myself, is if I got socks on, maybe it'll grab the sock and then I can slip my foot out. You know what I mean? Like that's always my thought process, which is kind of the
That's a
same
good
thing.
rationalization on it. I can respect that one.
So, it's kind of like the same thing for you, like with the music, you just like, if I cut the music out, then obviously I can't hear some fucking creepo weirdos speaking in my ear and stuff like that. Like.
Right.
So, yeah, man, that's weird, man. That's a weird, that makes me wonder, man, did Joey or Johnny have any of that stuff? And that's, you know,
Yeah. I still never really brought it up
mm-hmm.
to anybody except for like really now.
Right. Mm-hmm. But that's just so odd, and it's just so odd for like the color, I guess, for like a hoodie, because like we don't have, like, at that point in time we really had slim pickings for clothes, and so, and especially like if you knew, if somebody had a red hoodie like in the family, like one of the brothers, you'd be like, all right, dude, don't fucking wear that again, dude, it's freaking me out. But I don't think we had any red hoodies, dude.
No, we just had like regular gray hoodies. Johnny always wore the Florida Gator one too. He had, or was it the Miami?
It was the Miami Hurricanes one. Yep.
Yeah, and I don't know. I rationalized it that way and just tried to put it out of my mind as best I could.
Does it still scare you today, like you being a 31-year-old man?
It scares me, no. Wondering if it's gonna start happening again. Yes, and that's when I'm like, man, like I can rationalize it better or something. Maybe
Right, right,
I don't
right.
know if I really want to deal with it.
But I feel like you would. I mean, I guess that's just like me, but I feel like you would want, like, I guess in my sense or my opinion of that side, like, if obviously with the whole Bigfoot, or what I think is Bigfoot, all that stuff. If I got the chance to actually like prove that and see that again, man, I would want to see it. Like, that'd be, it would I guess it would kind of finalize my opinion or any doubt in my mind up to this point, because now obviously I'm older, I'm a little more wiser, I kind of have a little more understanding of stuff. So if I had the opportunity to see it, or do those kinds of things, obviously I would be like, fuck yeah, 100% I'm down, like. And I feel like even though you say that now, if it came to that point in time and you saw something in a red hoodie walk by your window, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? And you're gonna get a gun and you're gonna go outside and be like, what the fuck, dude? Like.
Right. I guess that's
So,
one way you could go at it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that would just be my, like, the way kind of we are. You already have, like, obviously if it's a person, then you can just shoot him and be done with it. But if it's not a person, then that kind of puts everything to rest for the last 31 years of your life. You're like, oh fuck, like that shit was like legit, and I can legit go to sleep now, regardless if it keeps happening. You can legit go to sleep and be like, well, at least I know it's true now, and motherfucker ain't coming to my house yet, so I guess
Or it
I'm
could
good.
open up, like, it could open up other questions and doors that probably
Right.
don't have good answers behind them.
Right. Well, what the common thing that I've noticed when you research anything about ghosts or like spirits or demons or whatever you want to call them, is the biggest thing that I've noticed is you never try and entice it. You don't go looking for those things. Like, so even if you were to see one or get around that kind of stuff, you never try and like provoke it, or be proactive about, like, oh, let me go see, let me go, because then you're just, at that point, you're inviting it, I guess, and that's what opens up the whole Pandora's box of everything.
Yeah. Especially if you're in a bad mental state, you're like,
Hmm.
that that doesn't help anything.
Right. Yeah, that'll, like, and it's weird, man. I mean, even, and I say it all the time, dude. If you're at night, man, if you're like, you put me alone in the dark, like outside, or like in my truck or in a room or whatever, like alone in the dark, man, you're never scared of anything. But then when your mind starts to wander a little bit, it really, really throws you for a loop, because it's so insane how, like, the dopamine and everything in your brain reacts and starts creating all these fucking scenarios, and everything that's traumatized you up to this point in your life, like, they just all the floodgates open and everything looks like a fucking person. Everything looks like a fucking monster. Everything is like it just
Yeah.
heightens everything,
Hmm.
and and up to this point, dude, I'm a 32-year-old man, dude. I am terrified of the dark. Absolutely terrified of the dark. And I will 100% say if I have somebody with me, like anybody with me in the dark, I'm 100% okay. But you leave me alone with my thoughts in the dark, and that's my worst enemy right there. 100%, hands down.
Yeah, I think I'm about the same with that.
Hmm. But I mean,
Somebody else is with me. Yeah.
yeah, I would say because at least then I got a fighting chance. I know I can beat you. So, right, like I know I'm gonna be okay. So, what if it's like one of the kids or the wife or something? Like, obviously, I gotta put on the macho and be brave and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so the person on the bed, obviously nothing obviously came about that after that, right? Or that
Well,
was the only time? Huh?
because after that, nothing like that ever happened again. Never seen like felt something on the inside of the house. It was just external.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from like weird shit going on in my ears and stuff, never really felt a solid presence near me.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. And no more of the red hoodie stuff. Just kind of from the double wide to the prairie. How many times at the prairie did that happen?
That's happened about 3 or 4 times, and then it just kind of stopped.
Hmm. 3 or 4 times. How old were we there when we were there? What, you were like 14, 15, something like that? 13,
Yeah,
14?
I think I was like 14 or 15.
I'm telling you, dude, just going through puberty at that time, bro. Your hormones are crazy. Everything's going crazy. You're getting introduced to women, I mean, it's just a weird, that's just a weird transition from that, dude. But, I mean, if you ever look up, like what the color, like, red means and stuff like that, as far as, like, if you look up, like, robes or like, in, like, the church, like, what does a red, like, none of it's ever good, dude.
And see, I did that.
Like it's never
Uh,
it's never good, bro. Like none of it,
I
dude.
don't remember what it said, but I did that a few years ago. Just it popped into my head thinking about it, and I did a little Google search, and
Right.
yeah, it wasn't very pleasant. I'm like, huh, great.
Like I mean, there's all different colors though, dude. Each color of the spectrum, like the normal, like RGB, like the normal colors of the rainbow. You think like the three main colors that make up every color. Like obviously, red plays a big part in all of that. And obviously, if you think of like the Grim Reaper, which what color is the Grim Reaper? He's like a black. And then like
Mm-hmm.
red is more of like the actively like the Grim Reaper is there to take you because that's you're done. Like the afterlife is there and you're going and that's it. But like red is more like actively looking and doing bad shit. It's not
Yeah,
like white is like obviously white's like angels. That's like a normal. That means like spiritual and the good part and stuff like that. So the red part is not isn't it's not a good those aren't good colors. I guess as far as if you're looking at like the ghost and like spiritual part of it, like red is the color of the devil, like red is like the color of blood, like all it's like nothing red is like ever like, oh man, that's so sweet.
right, right.
Mm.
Comes in there with all the red anger and other
Right,
stuff.
right, right. Yeah, when you get mad, you turn red. When like it's just kind of like those things. So, have you ever had? So, Lee, do you know what sleep paralysis is?
I heard about it. I don't really remember the definition.
Okay, so I don't know the definition per se, but I know sleep paralysis is basically when your mind is in a dream state, but your body is awake, if that makes sense. So you can open your eyes, but you can open your eyes and you can see everything, you can feel everything, like your senses are still all there, but your brain is like asleep. Okay, and you can't move, you can't do anything. You're basically just awake. You're basically paralyzed, like in that state. Um, so basically, I think it was for about a month straight. Um, I was having these weird dreams, and with most dreams and stuff like that, you can always be like, hey, like, and what they say is if you can remember a dream, that means it's something like catastrophic or something that's going to happen or anything like that, or something happened in your life, basically. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, you can remember like little small bits and pieces of your dream, but not like vivid, to where you can remember what like cloth looks like and what like it smelled like in the air and stuff like that. Like not that's I guess the difference between like a regular dream and like an in depth like crazy ass dream. You know what I mean?
Right.
So basically, what was happening, and I had, dude, it was like a fucking movie. Like these dreams that I was having were like when I went to sleep at 9 o'clock at night and I woke up at 5 a.m. Like I felt like I lived that whole dream through this whole entire process up until my alarm wakes me up. Like that's how at least the dreams could have been maybe 20 minutes in reality, but it felt like to me that it was like 8 hours of your sleep, 8 hours of a dream. And basically the one I didn't think it was really, which I won't go into every single one of them because by that time we'll basically be over the time, and we can save it for the next one, or here in a couple episodes down the road we can talk about it a little more. But the one that was fucking creepy as shit. So Angel has all these plants. Okay, she has all these plants all over the house, and they're just, she's a very good. She likes plants in the house, which is cool and stuff like that. But plants cast like a weird shadow, especially if you catch them like in the right angle of light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so basically, so I always lay on the right side of the bed, and on the right side of the bed, I can look over, and I have the window, and then you can see directly into the hallway and see the kids' rooms and stuff like that, and then the stairs that go downstairs and stuff. And basically, I'm turned over on my side, looking that way. And like the worst thing you could ever think about when you're sleeping is if you open your eyes and you see something. Like that's the worst
Oh
case
my God.
scenario. You
Yeah.
know, and at that
It's
point,
just right.
so that's the worst case scenario. All right. So worst case scenario, I turn over, I look into the hallway, and you know how when your eyes adjust to like the darkness and stuff like that, like you can see, like
Mm-hmm.
you can make out shadows and stuff. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so basically, I turn over and I'm looking at the hallway. It's not really a hallway; it's like 6 feet long, and then it goes downstairs and goes to the other rooms and stuff. But I'm looking at it, and I see what looks like the silhouette or the outside of a person.
Oh
And
yeah.
this is
I'm jumping out the window.
right. No, no, no. But I don't think. I think I'm at that point in time. I feel I'm in a dream. But it's so weird when you have a dream about something that you're normal to, because it's like your bedroom and shit. And
Mm-hmm.
so I see that, and I see like a person, and it's not like a fucking little person. If it was a little person, I'm throwing hands, I'm getting dirty, and I'm beating the shit out of somebody, or maybe it's a kid. Like at least then I can rationalize it and be like, oh, that's one of my kids. Like that's cool. But it's like a full grown person, um, and I'm basically in denial. So then I basically turn over the other way and face Angel. And I don't want to, it's one of them things where like you turn away and it kind of gets closer. You know what I mean? Like that whole, like you turn away and look
Yeah.
back, you turn away and look back, and it just gets closer. Like that's one. So that's what this whole thing is. And I turn back over, and now this person, which I can't make out the face, you can just see the outline of it, like the shadow part of it. It's not really a person. It's not really um, like anybody that's actually there. So then
Like,
it's
is
just
it like distinguishable clothing or anything, or
no,
just like
no,
a
nope.
figure,
Just like the
like a shadow figure?
silhouette. Yep, the silhouette and the outside of an actual person, like the shadow,
Huh.
like you're casting a shadow, like the way that shadow looks.
Yeah.
That's what it is, just in the middle of the room. Obviously, there's no lights and stuff like that, but so basically, I turned back over, and this is all a dream, bro. Like that's the worst part about it is, and I basically turned back over, and I turned back the other way, and this fucking shadow is like at the foot of the bed, like the right side of the bed, right at the foot, and it's obviously like at this point, like I'm trying to like either a like wake myself up or B, trying, like when you sleep, and if you're like in a deep sleep and you're dreaming, you can kind of make some noises and stuff, and then it'll wake you up.
Yeah.
But this is,
Anything also.
yeah. But this is not happening. It's not. So basically, and I feel like I'm trying like I'm lifting the heaviest weight in my entire life, and I can't move like even a fucking fingertip, like at all, like physically on my body, not like in the dream. In the dream, obviously I'm moving, but like physically, I'm trying to like get out of this and like come back to fucking reality. And so basically, then I turn back over, back to Angel, and then I look back, and then the person is back now in the corner of right next to the door where the door swings open, just in the corner, faced away, like in the corner, like as far away as it could possibly be in the room. And I'm like, okay, like what the fuck is going on? Like am I making this shit up in my head, or and then I think back to like, hey, like did I watch a TV show that fucking freaked me out or something? Like am I just doing this shit on my own? And basically from there I turn over and I look at the plants. And I look at the plants that she has, and they're right next to the window, and they're right next to the nightstand, which is right where all my stuff is. And I look at one of the plants, and it starts to like fucking like melt, like it's like the sun is like burning it, and it's just like melting. Like basically the plant is dying in like a time lapse, basically just quick. And it's just like the
Mhm.
whole plant, and this is all a dream. Like it's fucking creepy as shit. And the plant fucking dies, and then basically as soon as the plant dies, I look back over to where the fucking shadow dude is, and then everything is gone, and everything is back to normal. And then my alarm goes off, and I wake up. Bam, done. The whole fucking dream is over with. And it felt like I felt so tired and drained from that dream. Like my body physically was tired. Like I literally just ran 5 miles and worked out for 2 hours. Like physically, it was fucking miserable. And I had three different dreams every single night, and each one of them were different in every aspect. And it was fucking weird.
That's,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I think I developed some insomnia, so I wouldn't.
Oh man, dude. But I was like, I was telling people at work about this and telling Angel about this. It felt like it was like a like story time. Like I come into work and they're like, dude, so what happened, bro? Like they were like, what the fuck happened? Like it was like a story for
Yeah.
everybody's living the episodes of my fucking horrible nightmares. So, but
Jesus.
yeah, it was pretty crazy, man. And the second and third one, which we probably won't get it because we're almost at like an hour at this one. So we'll save those the other two for that point in time. So
Definitely, you should have about that.
right. So I mean but hearing all that stuff, Lee, with you, man, that's pretty crazy. I mean, the one on the bed and stuff like that. I mean, I guess you could at that point you could make up whatever kind of scenarios in your head. But as far as like physically like a person and like a jacket, and did they have their hood up?
Yeah, it was just the hood pulled up, shoulder side of the head, like side of the hoodie head, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it, dude.
That's so creepy, man. I just don't get how. And you would see it all around at any given window, like not specifically at one.
Any given window, mostly towards the double doors in that front window, and it was everywhere.
Wow, that's so weird. I'm trying to think if I ever. Dude, that trailer was high, man. It wasn't like on the ground.
Yeah, well, I was thinking too when I was seeing this, like it can't be y'all, it can't be somebody around here, especially when it goes to the back doors, double doors where the porch is, so there's no way you can walk across that
That's
and
so
just be
crazy. Yeah.
head and shoulders.
Yeah, that's so weird, man. Yeah, because you'd have to be like fucking 10 feet tall to get up to some of them windows, man. Huh. Well, that's crazy as shit, Lee. Well, I'm glad you came on, dude, and kind of talked about that. That's pretty cool, dude. Thanks for sharing that your fucking weird ass story, man.
That's what we're here for.
Right. All right. Well, all right, Lee. Well, I'll let you go. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you coming on, man. And then I'll kind of end
Well, thanks
this,
for
and then
having me.
and then we will. I'll let you know when it's all uploaded and everything, and kind of see how everything sounds and everything, and I'll let you know, bro.
All right, brother.
All right, sounds good. Love you, man.
Love you too.
All
Bye.
right, bye. Oh my God, that is so crazy that happened, and to think like, and this is what this is. I'll talk for get on my soapbox for a couple minutes here, because I really like me and Lee like probably over the past like 3 or 4 months, like we've really became close just because everything that happened with my mom and stuff like that. So we had no choice but to kind of talk and deal with each other, which is good, I guess. We're only getting older. We ain't getting no younger. But to think that where he was having that happen around the same time frame, it kind of just puts everything into fruition. Like, hey, like me and my state of mind and where I was at. I was 1 year older than him and stuff like that. So we kind of tried to deal with everything as best as we could. As best scenario. And I'm not going to get into details about how our dad was and stuff like that. If you know us, you know. If you don't, if you catch us on a night we're drinking beer, you might be able to figure it out. So, but it's so weird. So the first couple episodes, I kind of thought this theory and stuff like that. And the biggest thing with that theory is, do we see these things? And I don't discount anything he says. I 100% believe everything that he says. I'm never gonna be like, no, I don't believe him. He's fucking lying. Like, no, I believe him 100%. He saw what he saw. It freaked him out. It got him to that point. And the same way with me. At that point in time, same time frame, same area. Never had this conversation with the man. Yeah. We've known each other for 31, 32 years of our lives. Never had this conversation. First time I ever heard it. That's why I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, that's crazy. And to think that he had never talked about it or mentioned it, really kind of the same thing like me. Like, for fear that, obviously you're a child. No one's going to believe you and stuff like that. So to hear that he kind of, everything happened the same time that I saw the whole Bigfoot encounter and everything like that. And to think it followed him to the prairie just the same. Oh my God. Just the same as, the Bigfoot second site was at the prairie. Like, that's just so weird to me that he's seeing this person in a red hoodie, and I saw Bigfoot at Fort Drum, same area, and then also at the prairie, and he's seeing the same thing. They're seeing a different thing, different whole, whole different spectrum. And we didn't grow up, religious or anything. We didn't go to church and stuff. So that's why I asked him, like, hey, do you go to church? Yeah, I go because so and so. Yeah, the same thing like me. If Angel wants to go to church, and the kids want to go to church, they want to get introduced to that. That's fine. I'm there, 100%. I'll support you. Do it everything. They're not going to push it on me, and I'm not going to push it on them to go. Like, whatever. It's whatever. So, but it's just so weird how all of this stuff, and that makes me wonder, like, I'm going to talk to my other brothers too and be like, hey, motherfuckers, you guys got some stuff you want to talk about? Got some things you want to share? Because I feel like we were all trying to escape something at that point. And either we had to make something up in our head that we wanted to see, or these are things that we're actually seeing because of the place and state that we were in. And us being teenagers at that point, we were always looking for that escape. We were looking for that search and that, like, hey, like, I need something else to focus on. I don't want to worry about my home. I don't want to worry that I have 4 brothers. I don't want to worry about my dad and my mom. Like, you just wanted an escape. And that's all that we wanted to do. So we tried to do everything that we could around the house to get away from that. And you hear from him too. That place is fucking creepy. Everything out there was creepy about that. It had like a storm shelter with like a creepy ass door. It was wooded all the way around. There was a creepy ass creek. Like, it was just a weird area. So to hear him say that, like, I appreciate him coming on. I appreciate him talking about all that stuff because it really, it's really crazy that all that happened. But I'm glad he came on. That was cool as shit. Like, I like those. And it's probably a lot more entertaining too because the audio was probably shit, but you hear the good parts, which you need to hear, and you don't. And I kind of tried to repeat them just so everybody could, understand it, know what we're talking about, so it doesn't seem like his shitty phone it's not working correctly. But everything worked out great. Like, I'm glad I've got to talk to him. Glad he came on. I appreciate him. He's my bro, and I love him to death. But other than that, that's about it for me. I'm gonna go and cut this video up and see what we can do with it. See what we can do with the audio. But other than that, if I don't see you guys next week, because it's a busy week, it's Christmas week and stuff like that. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, and I appreciate every single one of you. Love you all, and hopefully to see everybody for the next one. Take it easy, guys.